Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of First Impressions on the Scratch the Track podcast, presented by The Dude and Grim Show and co-produced by Mr. Ivy ESD. I'm the Dude.
And I am Grim. And today we are going to talk about a new project called The Smile and the first impression of their recent release, A Light for Attracting Attention.
Dude, I love lights that attract attention, like lighthouses, things like that.
Yeah.
Spotlights.
Smokestacks.
Really,
those are big ones.
Really attract attention.
Like power lines, kind of transformers, you know? Airplanes.
Power lines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looks, yeah.
So Graham, actually, first of all, I would be kind of curious. I've heard a lot of people describe this as, oh, it's Tom York's new band. It's Tom York's new band. But, you know, I mean, Johnny Greenwood's in it too. This is Tom York. He's done solo stuff, right, on his own. He's done stuff with Atoms for Peace.
Yeah,
but this is him, obviously, Johnny Greenwood and Tom Skinner. Now, people will say that's two fifths of Radiohead, and probably people would say the biggest creative part of Radiohead. So
I think this is a fair statement. And honestly, there's a lot of it that sounds to me in many ways kind of like a continuation of Radiohead, but at the same time, it's still different. And I certainly don't dislike it.
No, I don't either. I kind of feel like it, you know, I mean, let me be Captain Obvious. Obviously, it has a lot of Radiohead elements. I mean, how could it not? But at least with this, I felt like it was a little more maybe of a stripped down version of something.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fair. I mean, there were many times of it, and I hope I won't get chastised too much for saying this, but there were many parts of it that to me were reminiscent of some of the stuff they did on a Moonshaped Pool.
Sure. I think the biggest difference to me, a Moonshaped Pool had more acoustic guitar on it.
Yeah, okay.
This album, really, other than the song "Free in the Knowledge," it's not really there. It's not really prominent. They gravitate more towards using the piano as an acoustic instrument in this album.
Yes, and that's where I was going to go, is the specific track that got me. But I loved the track. It was actually, as I listened to it, I thought to myself, man, I do want to get this album. Although I will say, from the vinyl pre-order standpoint, the shipping is out of this world. I'm just gonna wait till it goes to the record store, and it's like I don't care if I get it like just on black, because you know the shipping was almost as much as the album, which to me is kind of insane. Expensive. But the track that stuck out to me was "Open the Floodgates," and that reminds me of, I think, what's the second cut on Moonshaped Pool?
Huh. Was it not Dex Dark?
No. No, it is not Dex Dark. It's Daydreaming. And why it reminds me of Daydreaming is because you have this synth in the background that is doing these arpeggiated kind of chords, and you have a piano over the top of it. And those two things together create like a really interesting texture for me. And so I think not that there weren't plenty of other tracks that I gravitated toward, but this one in particular, it really stuck with me.
So it's kind of funny you say that, because the song "The Opposite," which is the second track on this album,
I like that one. Yeah,
there were elements of that song that really reminded me of the work that they did on King of Limbs.
Oh,
like, there were parts of that song that really reminded me of, I think it was like Mr. Magpie and also Feral. Like there was
just because the way the drums kind of loop and the rhythm interacts with everything. No, I hear you, and I absolutely agree with that too. And for me, the song "The Same" kind of seemed, I would say, the most like a continuation of what I would expect of something Radiohead released at this stage.
Would you?
But once they got into The Opposite, which is kind of funny given the titles of them, I felt like that's where it sort of diverged for me. But I think, wasn't "You'll Never Work in Television Again" the first single they released off it? I remember that being the first one I heard anyways, and it was like the most rocky, you know?
It was, so that was the first one I heard. I don't know if it was the first one they released, but that was the first one that I heard. And you're right. It definitely is more rocky. The way he sings it has this
punk kind of,
it's punk, man. Yeah, definitely. And to me, that's like, that would be what I would call sort of a departure from Radiohead in the way that
yes,
you know, they've put their tracks out there.
Yes. All I was gonna say is track 2 off of the one that I have the big special edition of. Oh man, come on. In Rainbows, yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of
Body Snatchers.
Yeah, Body Snatchers has that real it has more of a crunchy guitar than I feel like you've heard from them in a long time. And that's the only thing I could compare You'll Never Work in Television to that they've already done, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I really, when I heard that song, I was like, wow, okay, that's cool, man. Like I just liked that it seemed like a different kind of area, you know, they were going into. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's a really solid album. It grew on me the more I listened to it.
Agreed.
And there's a few songs actually towards the end. So I think, you know, we usually talk about what, like, oh, you know, what your favorite song in the album was.
Yeah, sure.
But the one of the songs towards the end is We Don't Know What Tomorrow Brings. Man, really just love the groove of that song. I kind of wish it was earlier in the album.
Oh,
like,
really?
Something
okay.
about it. Yeah, that I don't know, man. It just, the song really moved. It had a good groove to it. And I just thought I actually think it's like the strongest just kind of song on the album. Like, it's very accessible.
Okay.
I think it stands out would be a really solid single. Which I imagine it was a single because there's 13 tracks on this album and 6 of them were singles.
Yeah, so you got almost a 50-50 shot with anyone. I mean, you're real close.
Yeah. The song before that, Waving a White Flag, it starts off with this really awesome synth sound, and I could almost, you know, A Clockwork Orange is one of my favorite movies.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
actually feel like you could hear it like
in the soundtrack.
You know, not inspired by, but I was like, man, you could kind of hear that in there. Or if it just has this sort of futuristic sci-fi kind of feel to it. So I think those are actually my 2 favorite tracks on the album. Waving a White Flag, I was like, when I heard it, I was like, okay, this is my favorite one. And then We Don't Know What Tomorrow Brings came on. I was like, okay, all right, actually, that's the favorite one.
See, my favorite are You'll Never Work in Television Again and Open the Floodgates, because that, man, the Open the Floodgates, the way they play with the synth that's doing the arpeggios in the back, and they don't follow it with the piano. They're kind of like hitting chords and moving around it, which I really like. I found that one really, really interesting. But I would like, if people, I would like to hear, what does it remind you of, Radiohead or otherwise, and let us know below.
Like, subscribe, and comment below. Yeah, because, you know, again, Tom York is, I've liked his solo stuff. I've liked the stuff he's done.
Dude, The Eraser was awesome. Adams for Peace was a great album.
Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Eraser was phenomenal. And so, yeah, I'd be curious as one, like, you know, is the Smile just, is this, you know, because he's had side projects and then he's kind of always gone back to Radiohead, or that's kind of come back together. Like, is Radiohead done? I mean, now that the main 2 driving creative forces of Radiohead are in another band without the 3 other guys, I mean, is that kind of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Come up with more albums? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dude, one technical question. One thing I was going to ask you, dude. Panavision, is that named after those old like film cameras, like the old school ones you'd always see in like the documentaries, the real deal ones?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it is. You know, yeah, I imagine that's what it is. But yeah, I can neither confirm nor deny. So
oh wow. Do you like the song The Smoke better than the song Red Smoke off King Gizzard and the Lizard's Omnium Gatherum?
It's funny you say that, because when I was like, oh man, songs are the same name, and then I looked at the track names. And
could you just bracket the first word though?
I like I got to go with Red Smoke off King Gizzard's new album. Definitely that. So
fair enough.
What do you say, Grim? I mean, is this going to make your rotation?
Yeah, I am gonna buy it, definitely. I couldn't stomach the pre-order when like the shipping was 40% of what the actual album costs. I thought that was kind of a real FU move. But I will get it, and I don't need the yellow. You get so many colored vinyls nowadays. You kind of you need some that are just the original.
Yeah, I wanted the yellow.
Simple, classic, black.
It's classic and it's black. So, all right. Well, I think that about wraps it up here, everyone.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think of this album. Are you hoping this band continues, more albums come out, or would you like to see them kind of transition back to Radiohead and see where their next phase goes? Let us know below. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
It's time to go. Scratch the Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More. That's .more and the Tims TIMNZ. Copyright 2020. The Dude and Grim Show.